Hi, I'm Mahesh, and I'm here with Randy today at the Beardbrand Studio in Austin, Texas. Okay, so Randy, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
It's been just over 12 months since we've met. The first time. Oh, hold on.
Sorry.
It's all right. Stick it down the side of you. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
See, I got excited.
You got excited. So it's been 12 months since we last met for the first time.
Yes.
And what are we going to do today?
Well, we need to clean it up.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun with the beard.
Yes.
I'm enjoying the attention.
Good.
Okay. Enjoying the attention. But want to clean it up. I'm going to ask you for some opinion on hair. Mm-hmm. We need to do something that creates volume, although I did spend most of my life making fun of folks with comb-overs.
Yes.
So here I am.
Here you are.
Here I am.
Now being the guy on the other side.
That's right, that's right. So lots changed since I saw you last.
Okay.
And so if we could, I've been doing the fade.
Yeah.
The way you did it last year.
Yeah.
And you can see it's obviously grown out intentionally. So in case we want to do something else.
Yeah.
But have been doing like a one fade in here.
Yeah.
And then doing some volume up on top.
Okay.
And then on the beard, anything, I keep getting it square, okay? And I think it looks better, as you suggested, with it going a little more angled this direction. Yeah. And so if we could do something like that, I think that'd work.
Well, I think you've got a really good moustache as well going on. And I think if you're happy for a little bit of a change, so we could do two things. So I would suggest one, we can keep the hair softer because you're looking for volume. So we don't go quite as short. We do a scissor cut, scissor over comb, nice and tight, but not clippered because it just looks a little bit softer. It grows out a little bit softer and you can manage the layers differently and you'll end up with more volume. Okay. And if we're going to do that, we keep the beard a bit softer as well, so we don't have it quite so contoured in. We'll keep it a little bit softer, everything a little bit softer. Okay. The other side of it is that we're going a little bit stronger and we keep the beard much more tapered in, scooping it round a little bit more, taking a little bit more weight from the front, but accentuating the moustache. Yes. So you've got more of a moustache feature than the beard. Okay. And then clipper the hair like you have previously, we can go in with like a short one, tapering it up, keeping that length on the top. But what you'll find is that the length on the top is, you need to be careful because what happens is when you've got short hair on one side, and you've got long hair on the top, if it looks a little bit thin, it's going to accentuate how thin it looks.
Exactly. Yeah, just kind of like a beard.
Yeah, so that's why I'm thinking maybe a scissor cut might be nice on the sides because you're not going to accentuate it so much. It's just going to be more of a blend. Got it. But this is all just me spitballing, and you can just decide what you want to do, and I'll go with what you want. So there's a little bit of options for you. Yeah, I just always think that the shorter it is, the less work it is. Yeah. Because the beard seems to be enough work on its own. Okay. But I've actually been wearing this shorter than I have it right now. Okay. And I kind of grew it out in the last couple months knowing I was coming here. Yeah. But I have actually been wearing it shorter, kind of, as you're suggesting, accentuating the mustache a little more. I'd like the idea of doing that. Okay, let's do that. So let's do that. And then should we do the shorter version of the hair as well? Yeah. And then, just taking it all down and making it look a lot cleaner, a cut and sharper. Yes. Let's do that. Do it. Since I seen you last year, when we saw each other yesterday, the first thing that struck me was that you lost a lot of weight and how well you were looking. I mean, you weren't looking well before. No, but thank you for mentioning that. But so you lost, how many pounds have you lost? Right now, about 50. 50 pounds? 50 pounds, so I've lost, that'd have to be a fourth of a person or half of something. Yeah, that's it. So yes, I have, and it's been part of the journey, and still on it a bit, but it's working great. So tell Randy, what was the thought process behind that? Was it a doctor's note, or was it just like a wake up one morning and go, do you know what? I'm struggling here, and I need to sort myself out, and I need to do something about it.
Well, you know, when you always had, or for me, always had the excuse of, you know, don't have time for a lot of exercise, don't have a lot of, it seemed like eating right always took more effort. And so part of this has been nothing more than paying attention to it intentionally, ensuring a little more exercise, and it's working.
So I'm going to go in with a 2 to start with, Randy, and then, because there's a little bit of hair to take away from here, and I'm going to blend it directly straight into the beard. And then we can see literally how much you've been growing it over the last few months.
Yep, a lot.
Now, I remember from last year we talked about, you had, I think you said I think now I've got to remember, now this is a long time ago, you retired, no, you semi-retired, or you retired from business, and you had a couple of businesses, and you were then taking it a bit of a back seat.
Well, all of that is officially winding down. And so now is much more of a time when I can do anything I want, when I want.
So you're going to have like a whole new adventure, really?
Well, I'm thinking about that and the way it could happen. So, like I said, these are very initial thoughts, but I thought while I was here this week and had great audience to be able to bounce some of this off of, I'd take advantage of that.
Yes. Great. Well, that sounds exciting.
Well, I think it could be. Could be very exciting.
It's liberating, isn't it? It's amazing how much we do. You know, when we go to work is generally an exchange of time for money.
Right.
That's what work is.
Right.
Ultimately. And it's amazing, isn't it, when we stop exchanging our time for money and we just have the time, that we realize how much value that is. I don't think we put enough value on our time, do we?
I agree.
We've got to a point in the world where labor is so cheap, you know, like people's time has become so cheap now. And it's a sad state of affairs, really, because there's always somebody who's prepared to take your place. Do you know what I mean? You know, if you're not going to do it for $7 an hour, someone else will do it for $7 an hour. You know, and I think that attitude has just got bigger and bigger, and it's become a global problem. And that's why I think there's a lot of issues where you have like this modern day poverty, don't you? Where, you know, people are living in, you know, 2019, and we've still got people who have got 2 jobs and still struggling. I mean, we were talking about this the other week, and at home, and we were talking about like how people sort of live with their families in different parts of the world. You know, different cultures. So you know, there isn't like a nursing home. In certain cultures, there is no need for them because families all live together. And you know, you end up living with your parents, and then you know your parents then become the grandparents as your family grows, and then the grandparents become like the live-in babysitters so that you can carry on going to work, and then in exchange for that, as your children grow older and your parents grow older, you then become the carer to your parent, and that's and it continues from there, you know, and then that's why you have, you know, generations and generations of people living in the same home. Because, you know, then the younger generation come through, you swap places with the older generation, you become the older generation, and so on and so on. And I think that happens in a lot of cultures, especially in places like, you know, Brazil and Spain and Portugal and Italy and places like that. That's a big thing. It's a big cultural thing, you know, to live as a family in a big unit. But in other countries, especially the UK, like we've segregated ourselves. We segregate ourselves from our parents when we grow old. Like, as we get older, you know, the thing is all about independence. So, you know, you must move out of home to show that you're an adult. So you move out of home to show that you're an adult and you're independent. Well, then you separate yourself from that family. and then what happens is your siblings then move all around the country or potentially the world,
Right.
and you all become disjointed. And then what happens is your parents become older, and then they've got no one to look after them because their children don't even live in the same county or even continent, you know.
Happens often.
And then you need a nursing home because there's no one to look after you, because your children have got their own families and they've got their own lives, and you know, you then become completely disjointed from each other. And then what you're doing is you're paying people who have nothing to do with you to look after your family.
Right.
It's a bizarre world that we've we made all these things, you know, like we've made these things for ourselves, and we think it's progression, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it is progression at all. You know, I mean, I think the world is such a smaller place now, which is amazing. I mean, you know, probably 20 years ago, this would never happen. I would never be coming over here to cut hair.
Right.
You know, in the US from the UK, coming over for a week and then going back home again. That wouldn't happen. The flights would have been enormously expensive, and
Sure.
The accommodation wouldn't be available, and the connection between Beardbrand and myself would never have existed because there wouldn't have been the internet, you know. And I think
Yes, made the world much smaller.
it has made the world smaller. So there are good things in there, but there also are the negatives that come out of it as well, isn't there, you know?
And it's recognizing those negatives along the way to not let it become the new norm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's always a challenge, but you know, we talk about accepting things as the new norms, and that isn't always what we really want if we step back and look at it in our hurried lives.
Okay, so for now, I'm gonna just leave a little bit of this length on top.
Okay.
What I might do is I might dry that
Okay.
into shape, and then we'll cut that accordingly because I want to see what it looks like when it's dry.
Okay.
So we'll move on to the beard, and we'll shape that up because I want to see the entire picture before I decide how short that top bit needs to be.
Great.
Because sometimes you can cut it too short and then you can't get any volume from it.
Right.
You know, and if you leave it a little bit too long, then you're not really going to get, you know, it will lay too flat. So let's just we'll move our attention to the beard, and we'll take it from there. Okay.
Got it.
So we're just going to line up your haircut while we're here.
So I have to ask you, any truth? Now maybe I was told this as a really young kid. I was always quiet in the barber chair because, you know, I wanted the barber to really focus on what he was doing.
Yes.
But it kind of negates the social aspect of it. So when I hear the clippers, I instantly become quiet.
Barbering's changed so much now because it's also become a social thing.
Yes.
And you know, you get to know your barber really well, and your barber gets to know you well. And I think, like the black barbershops were always that.
Yes.
The white barbershops weren't that so much. You know, the black barbershops were always a place of community,
Right.
and there was always, you know, that element of coming together, and you weren't necessarily even there for a haircut.
Exactly.
You know, you could go there and play checkers and
Right.
and get a coffee and just hang out with your local.
Sports.
Yeah,
Yes.
talk shit, you
Right,
know.
right.
And I think that happened a lot, you know, and then it sort of transversed over to, you know, white barbers were realizing that actually, no, we needed that as well. And I think that so the barbershop's changed a lot, and also like a lot of, like for me, for example, you know, I've come from a hairdressing background, so I'm used to being with maybe a customer for maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours.
Sure.
And in that 2 or 3 hours, you know, if I was going to colour a lady's hair and give her highlights and a haircut and blow dry and all that sort of thing, she'd be in the seat with me for 3 hours. I mean, I can't not talk to her for 3 hours.
Right.
So you end up it becoming a social thing. And I think what I wanted to do when I opened Gentlemen on the Roads was I wanted to take that community, that social aspect, as well as the, you know, being good at your craft and being patient and taking your time and mixing that all together in a masculine environment. And I think lots of barbershops are taking that on now. You know, it's become like a normal thing.
And I've been trying to, I always thought that my brother had a great mustache.
Yeah.
Okay. And when I wore my beard short, I always wore the mustache really short.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I could grow this one.
There you go. And I think having, you know, now you've grown it all out, you can really accentuate that moustache because it's a good shape.
Is it true that sometimes one side of the beard or mustache grows different or at a different rate?
Yeah, well, the way that I look at it is everyone sort of sees their hair, they see their beard as like one thing that you know, like, you know, you put Play-Doh in or something and you squidges out all at the same time, you know, but it doesn't grow like that. Every hair is an individual hair.
Yeah.
And it will grow as quickly as it wants to grow, you know, and but you do get patterns of growth. So you'll get one side that will always be, maybe it's got a stronger pattern and sits better, so that it looks like it looks like it grows faster because one side might grow out, sticking outwards, and one side will grow tucking under.
Yeah.
You always think, well, that doesn't grow that quick. That's always sticking out. So you'll get like maybe a pattern of growth that goes across the bottom of your chin. So that side will sit really smooth, and that side flicks out, and you think, well, this side of my hair grows really quick.
Right.
But that's actually just a bit that's the pattern of growth. Yeah. Because, you know, it's no different from the hair on your head in the sense that, you know, you've got, you know, a pattern of growth on your head. So you'll always find that one side of your hair will sit differently from the other. So one side will always come back better, and the other side will come forward better. And that's what the crown is. So your crown is the circular bit on your head. That's the circular growth pattern of your hair. So if it grows round like that, that means that way will grow forward better, that side will go back better. So you'll go like that and that go, oh, that sits back really nicely. That side doesn't sit back so well.
Good point.
And that's just what it is. And I think that happens that way. It does happen on the face as well. So you've got the growth pattern on the face.
Makes sense. So now I've been trying to let that grow down a little below the lip.
Yeah, that's what I'm sort of looking at now.
Okay.
I think I'm just going to give you like a little tidy up underneath.
Yep.
So I'm just going to pull the main body of the moustache away.
Mm-hmm.
And then underneath here, yeah, it's chilly in here.
Freezing, yeah. It's like the reverse of yesterday.
Oh yeah, it's a lot cooler than yesterday.
Sorry, Randy, I've got loads of moustache hair in your mouth now. What is the best bit is it's your hair, not mine.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're waking up in the morning with my hair in your mouth, you've had a crazy night out. Is that right, Michael? Hey? I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Now, every time I try and do this myself, I end up cutting my lip.
Wow.
With scissors. Yeah. It's only on the one side.
Yeah, you'll go in one way easy,
Right.
and then you'll come back the other way, and it's like, this is not easy.
Yeah, that's the one I cut.
So the tip is to try and have the blade
Yeah.
resting against your lip.
Okay.
So, and if you hold the scissor so that your thumb is the only bit that moves,
Right.
and then when you move the blade along the lip,
Okay.
and you just move the thumb up and down, then you're only going to cut that. So when you open your hand
That's
and
what
you do that,
yeah.
so both the blades are cutting.
Yeah.
So what you want is you want just one blade doing the work.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's a good tutorial. It's kind of interesting the evolution, and what I mean by that, Old West barbers, they were the dentists as well.
That's right. They were surgeons.
Yes.
That's where the barber pole comes from.
Right, the blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's certain barber poles that have white, red, and blue.
Yes.
and then some barber poles that just have white and red.
Yep.
So white, red, and blue. So the blue represents the vein,
Yep.
and the red represents the blood, and then the white obviously represents the towel. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, it was. I mean, you were pulling teeth, you were bloodletting, you were leeching, you were cutting hair.
Right.
You can see right here with the two. Now we're already starting our tape. I'm going to come into the middle of it.
Have you got, Randy? Have you got a preference to fragrance for the Beardbrand range?
Let's do Old Money.
Old Money.
Yep, that's my favorite.
So we're going to use the Old Money then.
That is my favorite.
Now I'm going to work my way over with my cordless clipper. Put a half guard on.
Yes, good, isn't it? So I think we'll
This is a 1 I have on.
open one of the round brushes.
Remember, I started with a 2. You put that initial fade line in.
Just look at that.
And I jump over to the 1.
Is that the new brush?
In the corner,
Okay.
Brand new brush for you.
I spent all this time looking for a boar's hair brush that was round, so now I found it.
Just came out yesterday.
Cool.
So what I wanted to do is I didn't want to lose all that good growth that you've done,
Right.
because it also, now you've lost some weight, your face isn't so round. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to accentuate the fact that it's not so round anymore.
Great.
So what we've done is, left you with a little bit of length through the front, so you've got that contour coming down. Okay, rather than rounding you back off again.
Right.
Which you said, obviously it's.
Like it.
And then I'm just looking at the length on the top here and just deciding about how much we take off.
I'm going to do the same effect.
See, now I've shut up now, Randy, because I was concentrating then, wasn't I? I stopped talking, didn't I? Okay, let's put some moustache wax in, and then we're going to put a little bit of balm on as well.
Okay.
Clean up the neck hair first. So let's get you clear of hair, and then we'll get ready to.
So talk to me about the mustache wax. I've tried, really concentrating that on a few times, and I either seem to get not enough or way too much.
Okay. So there's a couple of different ways of putting moustache wax on.
Yeah.
That some people don't use the moustache wax in the right way. So some people, they put way too much on.
Yes.
All you're doing is just weighing the moustache down.
Yeah, because it kind of felt like super
Yeah,
glue at that point.
yeah. And I would say if it was sort of dropping out of shape, that was what was happening.
Yeah.
If you felt like obviously there's not a lot going on there, then you're not putting enough on. But so a good way of gauging it is build it up a little bit at a time.
Okay.
So let's just grab some now. I'll just dust you down. Do you see what I mean? We sort of kept them at that length through
Yes.
there.
Yeah, I would really like it.
And then you've got a really nice taper in the sides,
Yeah.
just to really accentuate the fact that you've got the length here,
Yeah.
which then I've cleaned that a little bit up here, and then really left that soft and natural through the rest of the moustache, because that's all it needed really. Okay, so let's put on a little bit of the. We'll keep with Old Money.
Right behind it.
Yeah, Old Money right there.
Yeah, Old Money. So we use the moustache wax. Have you used this one before?
I have.
Yeah.
I have. Now, the difference between heating it and not heating it, have you,
Yes.
which?
So
When I heated it, it got a lot on.
yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, because it got really soft. And,
Yeah, so I don't have big fingernails,
Yep, okay.
but what I would say is try and use a fingernail,
Yep.
scrape along
Got
the
it.
front like this,
Okay.
My father doesn't grow his beard, so my brother
And you're not going to need much more than that. Now, the thing about heating up your mustache wax is that it's really hard to gauge how much you put on, like you just said. The reason why is because you're basically transforming it back to its original source, and you know it will go everywhere. So I half the amount of wax on each fingers, and I work it into my finger and thumb. And then if I was doing it myself, I would obviously just be doing that. But and then I always start from the middle and work my way out, because what you don't want is you don't want all the product on the ends of your moustache. If you put all the product on the ends of your moustache, that's where you're getting. That's the weakest point of the moustache. And you can see it's holding itself up nicely there. I mean, there's a little trick with, after using the moustache wax, you can use a tiny little bit of hairspray. But I don't really like to do that. If really your product that product should be enough.
As I fade downward.
Looks good. Feels good.
Good. Thank you, sir.
One of the primary reasons I can't. Not the only, but one of the primary.
Stop before you watch the next video. Let me tell you, you are worth it. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you deserve to invest in yourself. You deserve to pamper yourself. You deserve to take care of your skin, your hair, your beard, and Beardbrand has your back with products, not just for your hair, your beard, and your skin, but also for your mind.